Good morning. All right, today we are going to focus on text structure. Okay, we've talked about chronological order, and remember, chronological order is order that happens in time, okay, in sequence. Today we're going to talk about cause and effect. Okay, cause and effect is something that happens, and then something else happens because of that. So it tells why or what happened and why it happened. Some of the words that you can look for are because, if, when, so, and as a result. Those are some of the words that you can look for. You guys understand cause and effect all the time, every day. Every choice that we make has an effect. So, when we choose to do something, we have an effect that comes after it. So the cause might have been, I did my homework, and the effect is I get a good grade. Or the cause might be, I didn't do my chores, and the effect was I got grounded for 3 days. So it's kind of like choices and consequence, cause and effect. All right, so today we're going to read about landslides, and we're going to pull out some cause and effects. Now we're going to look for those words that give us clues that we're going to have an effect and a cause. All right, so I will read it. Follow along with me. Cause and effect, landslides. Sometimes it rains so much that the earth moves. If it rains a lot in a short amount of time, the ground gets soaked. As a result, you can hear that. As a result, the hard ground turns into soft mud. In very hilly areas, this wet ground can result in a landslide. When this happens, mud starts to flow down a hillside. The landslide moves faster and faster as it goes down the steep hill. Picking up more dirt, mud, and rocks as it moves along causes the landslide to grow. It is similar to the way a snowball gets bigger when you roll it in the snow. Landslides can cause a lot of damage. Therefore, people should have an emergency plan ready if they think there might be landslides in their area. All right, so let's look. Here's the cause. The cause. It rains a lot in a short amount of time. Okay, so if it rains a lot in a short amount of time, what can happen? What are the effects that happen when it rains in a short amount of time? So let's go back to our text and look at it. Sometimes it rains so much that the earth moves. If it rains a lot in a short amount of time, the ground gets soaked. So it tells us right there. So what is one of the effects? The ground gets soaked. Now, once the ground gets soaked, then what happens? What's the next effect? As a result, the hard ground turns into soft mud. So what happens here? What's the effect? The hard ground turns to soft mud. Okay, that's the effect. So here's the cause. It rains a lot in a short amount of time. And because it does that, the ground gets soaked. And because the ground gets soaked, the hard ground turns into soft mud. All right, now on this next one, they're going to give us one of the effects, and we're going to have to figure out what the cause is. So let's look. Effect. The landslide begins to move faster, picking up more dirt, mud, and rocks. What causes the landslide to move faster? Okay, so let's look. In a very hilly area, this wet ground can result in a landslide. When this happens, mud starts to flow down a hillside. The landslide moves faster and faster as it goes down. Oh, landslide begins to move faster, picking up dirt and rocks. The landslide moves faster and faster as it goes down the steep hill. So, what causes it to go faster and faster? Well, that's right before it. When this happens, mud starts to flow down a hillside. So, that's the cause. The cause is mud starts going down a hillside, and then the landslide begins to move faster and faster, picking up more dirt and rocks. So, let's write that down. Mud starts to flow down a hillside. All right, so that was the cause. Here's one of the effects. So now, once it starts moving faster, picking up more dirt, mud, and rocks, then what happens? So the landslide moves faster and faster as it goes down the steep hill, picking up more dirt, mud, and rocks as it moves along, causes the landslide to grow. So what happens when it does this? It causes the landslide to grow. All right. So cause and effect. Because something happens, other things happen as a result of it. All right, go to the next page. We're going to finish cause and effect. There's just a couple more little things. So we're going to look at no imagination. All right, so I will read it to you and we'll find out the cause and the effect. Can the lack of imagination in kids be caused by the overwhelming number of electronic devices? Gone are the days of inventing your own adventure. Now toys have buttons with pre-recorded messages and pre-written scripted adventures. The use of refrigerator boxes as a fort and gift wrap paper rolls as swords to defend the fort are gone. In are the days of nearly virtual reality video games of weapons and castles. Can kids have imagination when everything they play with creates everything for them? Is this why kids have short attention spans but can play video games for hours? That's a very interesting question, because I know that you guys could play video games for hours, but are you thinking this video is already too long? If I gave you, right now we're at about 8 minutes into the video, if I gave you 8 minutes to play a video game, that time would go by in a snap. But 8 minutes of learning, it feels a lot longer, doesn't it? So let's look at the cause and effect. So what is this saying causes all of these problems? So the cause is electronic games. That's what it's saying is the cause. Now, whether you agree with that or not, that's a completely different subject. But the cause is electronic games. And what does the author say is, what do electronic games cause? Well, in here it says that they cause children to have no imagination or a lower level of imagination. So the effect is children have less imagination. That's what they say is the effect of that. Now, we could get into opinions, right? We could do opinion writing on this, whether or not you agree with the cause and effect. But this is finding the cause and effect. All right, let's go down to the last one. Just too much. Our seas and oceans are threatened by two dangers: pollution and overfishing. Oil spills cause the death of countless sea creatures and birds. They also ruin our beaches. Factories, farms, and towns dump sewage and dangerous chemicals into our waters, poisoning fish and shellfish. As a result, eating these animals can lead to sickness and even death. Overfishing reduces the fish population further, and some species do not reproduce fast enough to replace those that are caught. As a result, the number of cod, herring, and anchovies in some areas are dangerously low. It isn't just fish that are threatened. Many species of whales have been hunted to the point that they too are endangered. Now, one of the things that I see in there is this phrase, as a result. So that's going to tell me that my cause is before that. The result is the effect. So what does it say the effect is? As a result, eating these animals can lead to sickness and even death. So that's the effect. As a result, eating sea animals can cause sickness and death. Now, what is the cause of those animals being poisonous to us? Well, it says up here that it's pollution. Pollution from factories, farms, and towns that dump sewage and dangerous chemicals. So the cause is pollution in the water, and that causes the fish to eat that. And when the fish eat that, then when we are eating sea animals, it can cause sickness or even death. All right, now let's look at the second part. The second part is talking about overfishing. I also in here saw as a result. As a result, the number of cod, herring, and anchovies in some areas are dangerously low. So the effect is low numbers of fish. And what's causing low numbers of fish? Well, it's going to tell me up here. Overfishing reduces the fish population further, and some species do not reproduce fast enough to replace those that are caught. So the cause is overfishing. Overfishing causes low numbers of fish. That's the effect. All right, my friends, cause and effect. Think about it today. Think about the choices that you make. How do your choices, your cause, affect what happens? All right, my friends, make good choices. I want to see some positive effects. All right, have fun with cause and effect. Bye.